Hey everyone, I realize it's been a while since I've done a video. Had a lot going on, so I finally wanted to kind of get back to that. I've had a nice day of settling in, and I'm just doing administrative stuff today. So Jennifer, you posted something about dealing with a situation around humiliation, and particularly, I would say, witnessing your son go through it. And obviously, that's more details always help a little bit. But just know that I think you're spot on. So when you're tapping on your own, what I'd recommend is that you just tell the story of what you're witnessing specifically, and use that to tap on, because that'll really help you. There's different aspects that'll be pulled in if you do that. So humiliation, it's wow, all the different times in my life that I know I have felt it. And honestly, growing up in the system that I did in, and I can't, somebody's here, but I can't see who it is. Oh, Abdul, I see it over there. Awesome. So the whole piece of humiliation, when I was growing up, it really, the Catholic upbringing that I had in particular, it was definitely the way they tried to keep us in line was through a lot of shame and humiliation. And so when you're witnessing your son go through this, you're right, it's a mirror as to very likely something that you've experienced, and that's why it's hard to watch. I've literally watched movies or TV shows where someone's being in a moment of feeling humiliated and ashamed, and I used to have to switch the channel. Like, I couldn't watch it. So it was obviously eliciting a lot of shame. I highly recommend that you tell the story and tap. If you watch shows where you're watching people experience that, try tapping through the experience instead of turning it off like I did. I just didn't know better back then. So let's just do some general tapping, and I'm going to weave in the bits about what you're witnessing. So karate chop. Even though this is so hard to watch, I'm watching my son feel humiliated, and I hate it. And I feel like I can't do anything about it. And that makes me feel powerless. Much like how I felt as a child when I felt humiliated. I choose to acknowledge I feel this way. Even though it's so hard to watch. To witness the humiliation. And to feel powerless and helpless to stop it. That makes me feel humiliated. I choose to acknowledge my feelings now. Even though watching someone be humiliated, particularly my son, brings up all my own humiliation and powerlessness to stop it. I accept myself and my feelings now. And then start at the eyebrow. All this humiliation. I feel it in my body, racing through my nervous system. It is freaking me out. I feel powerless to stop it. Powerless to help him. And that brings up my own humiliation. So I'm just going to honor these feelings right here and now. I think if I felt empowered, it wouldn't feel so humiliating. But I want to help. And sometimes I feel powerless to help. Powerless to stop it. And that's so hard. Because this is my kid. But I'm just going to notice right here and now how this is triggering my own humiliation, my own feelings of powerlessness and helplessness. And as I start to free myself from my own fear and humiliation, somehow I think I'll find the answers I need. And what if my only job right now is just to free myself from my own feelings? What if that's the best thing I can do for him and me? And as I become more grounded in myself, more empowered in my own thoughts and feelings, that's how I can help him. Because when my energy is grounded and centered, he feels that. And that can make all the difference. And then take a breath. And I do find this is really important. It's as we pay attention to our own energy, especially when it comes to a child. And I've experienced this myself before. And I remember one time taking my daughter to her school, and she was really upset because she hadn't finished assignment. And the teacher in front of me started coming down on her. And I'm more like mama bear, like, oh no, don't you dare mess with my kid. But in that moment, when that happened, I froze. I totally froze because it was so triggering my own humiliation in a school setting. And afterwards, I mean, the self-judgment that I was raining down on myself for, like, I didn't protect my kid. I didn't step up to it. And I had to tap through that because I think that adds to it when we feel like, oh, especially if it's your child and you're like, oh my God, I didn't do it. And, I didn't step in. I didn't protect them. I didn't do it. And the shame and the humiliation we can feel about ourselves for not doing that is just epic. So that's my recommendation is tap on when you're witnessing it, or just float there and imagine yourself witnessing this in whatever way you are, and tune in. If there's a part of you that's feeling powerless or freezes or feels like you can't step in and you can't help, that's what you want to tap on first. Because as you free yourself from that energy, you'll become more empowered and better able to step in. And it's huge. And then just to share one other story, after that, years after that, we were in Durango, Colorado for the 4th of July. And I've told this story before. I don't know if I've told it on here. So my daughter was walking by this structure, where they would do picnicking. It was the evening. We were getting ready to watch the fireworks. And she comes up to me and she looks really forlorn and just upset. And she's like, Mom, those guys called me a bitch over there because I had this like army type jacket on. It was just this little army, totally female stylish jacket. And they said something to her like, oh, why is that bitch wearing that jacket? And I was like, what? And I charged over there. So no, this can happen too. I charged over there and I walk in and I just start blasting these guys. And I'm like, nobody calls my daughter a bitch and you better get your facts straight. It was kind of the very opposite experience I had that time when I froze. And know that that can happen too, that you can swing the other way. It's that pendulum swing where it's like, nobody's going to say that to my kid. You know, it's, I think in that way, we're actually trying to heal ourselves too. And welcome that it's like, oh, I didn't step in here, but now I'm going to forcefully step in, and know that that's you trying to recalibrate and find a balance where now I can say stuff in a much calmer way, and just be very direct and very calm and very clear. And sometimes my anger is elevated, but I'm not off the rails, if that makes sense. But in that instance, I would honestly say it was perfect for what it was, because all of a sudden I'm standing amongst like 6 big guys, like 3 times my size, and I had just such a force about me. They're like, we didn't say it, and oh my God. And then when I walked away, I hear the one guy go, Jesus. But I got the point across. And then to not judge myself for that. And the interesting thing is, then when I walked up and saw my daughter, she was like, Mom, I could hear you all the way over here. But I know that she felt protected in that moment. And so whatever, if there's guilt or humiliation for yourself that maybe you feel like you should step in and you freeze or you can't, you want to tap on that and tap on self-forgiveness, because there's always reasons we freeze and do that. And if we rain down more self-judgment, it just creates more. So just tap on whatever judgment might be coming up, if it is. I'm speculating here. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. And I'm not exactly sure. There's one person live here, but welcome, whoever you are, if that's still you, Abdul, or whoever else it is. Thanks for being here live, and we'll hear you next time. I have more videos coming later, but for now, I'm going to go out and take a mountain bike ride. So that's it. Bye for now.